From being utterly repulsed by a seemingly standard action within a sequence, to having to resort to alcohol to get through a particularly awkward set of loving moments. These actors were in no rush to get these specific movie beats in the can, and likely winced at the thought of the director wanting to get one more for luck. Gareth here from WhatCulture.com, and here are 10 movie scenes you didn't realise actors hated shooting. Number 10. Paul Rudd still cringes at his mayo mishap. Clueless. With the comedy icon Paul Rudd being a self-professed condiment hater, the idea of having to garnish a sandwich with mayonnaise in Clueless was not a fun one. But that's precisely what the much-loved actor was asked to do at one point in the coming-of-age comedy. And the results still leave Rudd cringing today. As he told a Clueless reunion panel at the Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo in 2019, "When I go to the kitchen and I make the sandwich, I will put the mayonnaise on the bread and not directly onto the turkey itself. A little thing about me is I hate mayonnaise and I hate condiments, and it skeeved me out." Upon rewatching the scene, Rudd's complete lack of mayo-applying experience is hilariously evident. And it's not hard to see why the whole sequence is like nails on a chalkboard for the actor whenever he relives the saucy moment. Number 9. Chris Hemsworth wasn't in the mood for more topless scenes. Thor Ragnarok. The sheer amount of time and effort that goes into getting topless scene ready isn't something to be taken lightly, folks. With Chris Hemsworth in particular putting in absurd amounts of hours in the gym and taking in protein like it's going out of fashion when thoring up for a project. So when it appeared as though he was set to get away with not having to strip off his Asgardian armor at any point in Taika Waititi's Ragnarok endeavor, the Aussie star was positively over the moon. However, after sitting on the idea for a moment, the director eventually decided at least one topless moment was still a requirement when it came to his overall vision. Despite Hemsworth's response of, no, we've done that, don't make me do it again. And while Waititi would stress that Chris should be proud of his epic physique on show, it's evident this Thor was in no mood to flaunt his godly abs yet again on the big screen. Number 8. Ryan Reynolds is not a fan of a year's worth of sex. Deadpool. Joining Chris Hemsworth in the world of getting utterly ripped to play a wisecracking Marvel entity, that isn't actually the part of the Deadpool gig that Ryan Reynolds was least excited about. When it came time to finally bring his beloved merc with a mouth to life in the way he so desired, with Reynolds and co-star Marina Baccarin being at the center of one particularly hilarious sequence involving their two lovebirds their way through the seasons, the reality of having to capture Wade Wilson and Vanessa's many sexual encounters in just one day was a horrifying one for both actors. As the Deadpool actor would explain to The Fix, "It's not as titillating as it is just sort of funny and horrifying at times. It was a year's worth of sex in one day, which sounds a lot more romantic than it is, trust me." Baccarin would also weigh in on the surprisingly arduous amount of intimacy during an interview with Conan O'Brien, adding that despite some of the excessive amounts of sexy footage being cut from the flick, that was enough sex like nobody needs to see more than what was in the movie. Number 7. William Sadler felt shooting one horrifying scene was just awful. The Green Mile. Without a doubt, one of the most emotionally charged offerings of the late 90s when it came to big screen drama. Frank Darabont's The Green Mile wasn't exactly lacking in the deeply moving or tear-jerking scene department. So it was only natural for a few of the thespians involved in bringing Stephen King's tale of wrongly accused supernatural convict John Coffey and the lives he touched to get a bit caught up in the drama unfolding on set from time to time. And that's exactly what made one particular scene so difficult to execute for William Sadler during the shoot. During the moment involving Sadler's Klaus Deterick discovering Michael Clark Duncan's coffee holding his two on-screen daughters' lifeless bodies in his arms, Sadler later confessed that him being a young father at the time and having a little girl about that age made going to that place horrifying for him. So for Sadler to have to go to that disturbing place for a whole day was understandably just awful, and something he still classes as the hardest acting experience of his prolific career to date. Number 6. Johnny Depp did not enjoy shouting at Derek Jacobi. Murder on the Orient Express. Johnny Depp may not have gotten off to the most respectful of starts to life aboard Kenneth Branagh's Murder on the Orient Express, with reports suggesting the director was forced to dress down the partying star for rocking up late to set on his first day. But the gangster-playing superstar ultimately managed to mostly get his act together in the end, and made something of an effort to make up for his initial incident as the shoot went on. In fact, later down the road, Depp was said to have been so mortified by his required lack of respect in one specific exchange within the Agatha Christie murder mystery adaptation that he actually requested for his disciplined director to apologize to his scene partner on his behalf. Coming after a moment that saw Depp's John Cassetti/Edward Ratchet erupt at Derek Jacobi's Edward Henry Masterman mid-scene, it was later revealed in the film's director's commentary that Depp's reason for not at all enjoying the act and wanting to say sorry to the acting legend afterwards afterwards, but because I had to shout at him, I don't want to shout at Derek Jacobi. Who would? The guy's a damn national treasure. Number 5, Uma Thurman and Daryl Hannah didn't see eye to eye. Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. More often than not, on-screen mortal enemies are usually brought to life by a pair of actors who actually get on like a house on fire. It is called acting after all. The same most definitely could not be said though in the case of Kill Bill blonde badasses Uma Thurman and Daryl Hannah, with the battling bombshells reportedly despising one another so much that they requested hotel staff to keep them as distant as possible during the promoting of the first volume of Quentin Tarantino's deadly double whammy. This no doubt made the pair's 2005 MTV Movie Awards Best Fight winning showdown a bit of a nightmare for both women to get in the can, with the two regularly immersing themselves in blonde competition and a pissing contest of sorts, according to co-star Vivica A. Fox. Things got so ugly between the actors by the time Volume 2 landed at Cannes Film Festival that the stars were placed in separate tents during the film's after-party extravaganza. Number 4, Quidditch wasn't a pleasant experience for Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter. It may come as a shock to hear that not every aspect of wizarding life was as enjoyable as eating chocolate frogs and making feathers fly for Daniel Radcliffe. In fact, according to the Harry Potter star himself, the act of hopping aboard a Nimbus 2000 and soaring into competitive Quidditch was right up there with the least fun things I've done on Harry Potter, certainly. Going further when talking to Digital Spy about his hatred towards all things broom battling, the leading man of the wizarding world would also note, it is not a pleasant experience. It does hurt quite a lot, and it is not something I would be rushing back to do. Far from being the sort of exhilarating experience those watching the high-flying sport would have dreamed it to be then, it seems as though the likes of Radcliffe and many other cast members were more than happy to sit out this particular Potterverse practice. Number 3, Denzel Washington wasn't a fan of sprinklers, the equalizer. Acting as easily one of the coolest visuals you can possibly lace into just about any big screen production, the sight of a fearsome movie star strutting around in the pouring rain, or an artificial downpour in this case, with a weapon in hand isn't actually as simple to capture as you'd initially expect. Just ask Hollywood icon Denzel Washington, as the equalizer's leading light discovered the hard way during a rather damp sequence in the 2014 feature that getting a little wet on the job isn't actually all it's cracked up to be. With the scene in question that sees Washington's former US Marine Robert McCall setting off some sprinklers in a warehouse, requiring a few days to fully get down, having to wander around in the falling water in his quest to take down Teddy, turned out to be a rather difficult exercise. When talking to Cinema Blend about his experience of shooting on the eternally sprinkling set, Washington revealed that he knew precisely how cool his slow-mo splashing sequence likely looked on camera, but simply did not give a damn after a few 13-hour days of dripping action. Number 2, Jennifer Lawrence had to get drunk for her Chris Pratt sex scenes, Passengers. Tasked with attempting to authentically get across the idea of two people very much being caught up in a passionate moment. Everything from the room being filled with numerous crew members to the reality of kissing a married person can understandably leave a star with mixed emotions heading into a staged but still vulnerable lovemaking exchange. And it was that latter point in particular that left Jennifer Lawrence feeling a touch uneasy during the filming of her love scenes with Chris Pratt, then married to Anna Faris, in 2016's Passengers. As the Oscar winner would reveal during a Hollywood Reporter roundtable, Lawrence resorted to getting really drunk to get through the awkward situation. But she would also later confess, that led to more anxiety when I got home because I was like, what have I done? I don't know. But at least the pair had a laugh during one moment of accidental hilarity, in the midst of an intimate on-set beat, with the duo clumsily banging into one another during their character's first smooch, before actually lacing said unintentional cock-up into the finished article. Number 1, Jake Gyllenhaal's love scenes with Jennifer Aniston were torture, the good girl. Joining just about every other soul on the planet who got caught up in the global phenomenon that was Friends, eventual acting sensation Jake Gyllenhaal found himself very much harboring a crush on Rachel Green herself, Jennifer Aniston, when he was growing up. While innocent enough in isolation, said reality would actually make things a touch difficult for the Donnie Darko star when he suddenly wound up acting opposite his genuine childhood crush during the making of 2002's The Good Girl. Making matters worse for Jakey, the two were involved in a number of sex scenes over the course of the flick, leaving him feeling a bit conflicted about the whole experience upon looking back on his time working with Aniston. As Gyllenhaal would confess on the Howard Stern show, it was torture, yes it was, but it was also not torture. I mean, come on, it was like a mix of both. Again, highlighting the awkward nature of love scenes in general, noting how sometimes there are maybe 30-50 people watching it, Gyllenhaal would also reference a pillow technique being introduced by his iconic co-star, as a way of saving the young talent from any embarrassing pieces of accidental improvisation, if you know what I mean. How thoughtful. And that's our list of any other movie scenes you didn't realize actors hated appreciated shooting. Let us know all about them in the comment section right down below, and do not forget to like, share, and click on that subscribe button while you're at it. Also, if you like this kind of thing, then head on over to whatculture.com and find some more awesome articles just like the one this video you're watching right now is based on. I've been Gareth from whatculture.com. Thank you as always for clicking on this video today. Hopefully I'll see your faces very, very soon, but in the meantime, have a good one. Bye-bye.